Nice. And you're there also, Melissa. Great. Hey, Hajar. All right. I think we are here. Let's get started. We have a small enough group. We can do a proper check-in in a group. So yeah, maybe we can check in with where is your physical body today? Where are you? And secondly, do you have any particular needs for this meeting? As in, I know Hajar said you, I think, need to leave early or something else, or I mean, if you're tired, need to turn off the camera or whatever, just tell us. And the third, the key one is, what are key questions that you're bringing today, if any? If not, that's also okay. I will start. I'm Victor. I'm physically now in Torres Vedras, 1 hour north of Lisbon. It's beautifully rainy fall. I managed to plant already 20 or 30 trees this year, so rain makes me happy. That's the great thing about having a garden. If it's sunny, you're happy because it's sunny. If it's rainy, you're happy because your garden is being watered. Uh, I'm generally good. I hope we can give you value in this session. And my biggest question is uh, how to estimate the amount of time that the core team will take. But I have a general idea, so I look forward to running it by you. Alejandra, and then pick the
Okay,
next person.
hi everyone. Alejandra Verde. I am currently leading the Mexico gathering for October 2026. So just curious of how it starts everything in Portugal, and also for everyone know if you want to talk about the process. I'm happy to share anything. I've been doing it since February, I think. It's been longer than I thought, but it's the first time we were doing this. So yeah, lots of learning to share. Physically in Marseille now. So that's an additional challenge. Marseille is in the south of France. So yeah, organizing a gathering remotely is it's fun. So I'll pass the ball to Guy. How do you pronounce your name, Guy? Guy?
Guy, yeah, the French
Guy,
French
okay.
pronunciation. Hi guys, I'm physically in Ericeira, just near Lisbon. All is very well. A lot of cool stuff happening. Very interested to see this growing, and like a lot of good conversations around this have started to pop up already. I'm curious to learn more about everyone today, and see where we're at, and yeah, see how this will progress in the future or in the meeting today.
Hi there, team. I'm joining from my phone.
Did you pick the next person?
No, not yet. I can, Gustavo, you're the next one in my screen.
That's me, I guess, with the O at the end. Yes, my name is Gustavo. Actually, I'm going by Gustavito this last couple of weeks. I'm physically placed in south of Spain, Cádiz, right now. Question two, Hajar, want to follow?
Thank you, Gustavo. Hi, everyone. I am calling in from my home and ancestral lands of Casablanca, Morocco. I am mainly here to listen in today. I'm still considering what kind of involvement I will have for next year's gathering. So no questions, and I apologize in advance if I have to turn off my camera. I'll be up to some things around here, but I'm listening in. And I'll pass it to Simon.
Thank you. I'm calling in from Belgium right at the moment. I filled in my form. Basically, I just wanted to know if I'm really not needed at this meeting, because I think I've said all that I offering, and I don't think it's probably not needed to say any more. That's really it. Since I'm not volunteering to be on the core team, and I don't want to get involved with the shared responsibility and everything. So, but I'm very happy to help if I'm needed. If I'm needed. But that's another question. If it's just me. Now, who shall I pass to? Let me just see. Who hasn't gone yet? Let me see. Arsenije, have you spoken? Arsenije.
Yeah.
Arsenije. Okay.
Thank you, Sim.
Arsenije.
Yeah, I'm back to I'm calling from Mexico, but I was in Mexico City for a while and it was a bit chaotic. So back to the coast, back to Playa del Carmen. So kind of more chilled. And yeah, I'm here to help support and facilitate things, especially around how we kind of organize ourselves, and also really curious to see how this group will form and to meet all of you, as I'm kind of getting to Portugal in April. So yeah, looking forward to seeing forming of this group. And I think Melissa.
Hey, so my body is physically in Portimão, in Algarve, in the south of Portugal. My mind is a bit all over the place at the moment. Many things happening today. I don't have many questions. I mean, I could have all of them, but I don't have, because I'm positioning myself right now like as an observer. I want to, well, a participant, but also I want to observe what my body feels during this session, and that will tell me what my involvement can be with the gathering, and also very curious to see how we will structure this session and what the outcomes will be. And so, and I guess Rudolfo, I think you're the last one. And also Gustav.
Hello, guys. So I'm in Lisbon right now. I'm also feeding my belly during this call. That's why I have the camera off. I think that also was something shared about like this year. So currently, I'm in a point of my life that I'm really blending what I have learned on the last 10 years. And regeneration is a big topic for me. It's also a new topic. And I think what I need is really a space also to share what I can contribute. But I'm also like observing and understanding also my physical availability and time during this process, but I can be present on the next online sessions. And I have a question that is like, how can we create a festival that is co-participate and regenerative, and how we can measure that is regenerative? That's my question.
Nice.
Yeah.
Amazing. Is anybody remaining?
I think I'm the last one.
Yeah.
So name is Gustav, calling in from the streets of Lisbon currently, which is why I'm not on camera. I'm on my phone. Saw Victor this morning, which is quite good fun. And in terms of involvement, seeing as that's what we're talking about, I mean, my intention, I see the gathering as a place where birds of a feather may flock together. And I feel like there is a a dire need of individuals with a vision, a view, a desire to seed and create and catalyze communities that can start making a difference in this world. There is a great dearth of vision, and so yeah, I'm really willing to invest myself in the work and to see what comes out of it. Yeah, very excited to be part of the community.
Nice, amazing, thank you. So yeah, so my plan for today is to go through. By the way, I will share the Miro board so everybody can follow. And the goal is to go through just briefly what the gathering is. I was reminded I should be, I should give the opportunity to talk about that in case there's questions and such. Then to talk about what is to be done, a very rough draft budget, the relationship between the gathering global and the core team. And yeah, then to talk and try and discuss and think through, estimate how much the amount of work to be done. Been thinking a lot about this because rightfully everybody's been asking that. I think I have an idea of the answer, but yeah. Also, I know we have some professional event organizers with us or experienced event organizers, so it will be interesting to hear their feedback. Is this okay? Does anybody have any questions or other needs from this session? No, silence means consent. In the actual.
I have a question, Victor.
Please.
Yes. There are, I don't know how many Telegram groups about the gathering. I will need to understand if there is one group where this group is actually coordinating.
Yes, it's called Seeding the Gathering. Maybe you're not.
I'm there.
You are there. It's called Seeding the Gathering 2026 Portugal.
Okay.
If you have a suggestion for a better name, welcome.
No, it's okay.
But yeah, because we are going global, because there are many work streams, there is a lot of groups. I'm doing my best to name them in such a way that it's helpful. But of course, if you have suggestions on how to improve the naming, always would love to hear that. All right, so starting with what the heck is Alejandra? Tell us.
Yeah, so it's related to the groups. Yeah, it's good that you bring it up because I sent the message for everyone to find me, but I sent it in the Gathering Global Nest, Portugal Switch channel. So I don't know if folks here are in that group, otherwise you won't
Folks
find me,
here are
but
definitely
because I'm not in
not. The folks here are definitely not
Okay.
in that group.
Okay.
I will.
Then what?
I
yeah,
will
just share
add
my
you.
Telegram handle with them.
I will
Or
add.
or
You
just
want
share
me to
my
add you to this
Telegram.
group? Are you interested, or you can just share your Telegram in the chat here?
Yeah, just share the Telegram, please.
Okay. Yeah, you're in a lot of groups already.
Okay.
So why the heck the gathering? It's this kind of abstract thing of catalyzing the emergence of a regenerative ecosystem of collaboration. So the goal of the gathering, and we had a nice conversation today with, I think with Gustav or somebody else. that we're not here to push any particular agenda. We use the regenerative word, but in other countries, in some countries, regeneration is not the thing. It's climate change, systems change, deep tech. Today I learned deep tech. I should learn to use that more. So it's not about pushing any one particular solution or agenda. It's about creating a space where people working on many different solutions can come together. So that's where this catalyze idea comes from. If you remember it from chemistry, a catalyst is something that participates in a reaction, helps it go faster, and then returns to its original form at the end. So that's the catalyze part. Well, emergence is the coming. Regenerative ecosystem of collaboration, that's this idea of we want to enable people to work better together, more effectively. And as I've been thinking of this, and I work on other projects in tech, in culture as well, this idea of going forward and to create a regenerative society, we will need much more than just government and corporations. So that's why ecosystem of collaboration, there'll be many forms, and we all already know communities. So much work happens in communities. So much work happens in not-for-profits, in informal organizations, in just neighborhoods, in all other kinds of organizations. And that's why the original name actually was the Gathering of Tribes, because I was like, oh, a tribe is any group of people. It didn't work as a communication device. So we just rebranded to the Gathering. But this idea of encouraging people and strengthening all forms and organizations, communities, etc., that we collaborate in. So we create, I mean, in a simple way, we create a space for good people to come together and be able to be together, connect, and get stuff, move to getting stuff done together. Any questions about this? Simon, since you're here and since you were at the last gathering and you're the wise old man in this group, I think, any reflections on this? You muted.
Gosh, well, I think no, I really don't have anything to add to what you were saying, Victor. I think there's a real challenge here to embody the right kind of leadership within the group. The group needs leadership, but it doesn't need leadership by one person, and that's a really, really interesting challenge. So, so I'd be interested to see how that works out. If there's,
I love that, because there is that key part of it. We're not trying to lead, and that's where this catalysis is. We're trying to support leaders to be better leaders where they are, which of course does mean a whole bunch of leading, but we're not positioning ourselves as leaders of the Portuguese regenerative ecosystem or anything like that, just trying to be the place where the leaders can come together.
I feel like
please.
maybe yeah, because I think this came out of the conversation we were having. There's a friend of mine always used to say, leave space for emergence. And I think any regenerative system has to consider creating the catalyzing environment, right, the nurturing soil, to allow the emergence to take place, right, around the sort of values and the ecosystem of support that exists to allow those regenerative systems to arise. And so I think that's kind of what I hear when you speak, Victor.
Yeah. I mean, nurture could be another way of putting it. Definitely. Thank you. All right. So the DNA, this is a experiment. I know there is the traditional purpose, vision, mission, values, and all of these things that people like to use to define organizations. In my experience, if you have too many things, people start to get lost, and it's very easy to write all of them down in a nice workshop, but then actually thinking of minimal. So there is a vision and a DNA. And the idea of the DNA is this hope that this can be expressed in different environments, different countries, different cultures, different economic capacities, that this can be expressed in different ways, that this will look very different for some kind of a luxury gathering in a resort in the Maldives than for a gathering that's in a refugee camp somewhere. But still, all of these elements can be expressed. The inspiration is from nature, right? Nature is the ultimate scaler, but it scales in a way where the seed lands, it grows in a way that's appropriate to the environment. From the same acorn, you can grow a bonsai or a massive redwood tree. Same DNA. So that's the idea. And this is an attempt. You can also think of it as patterns. So co-creation, I'm at the core of my personal life philosophy, and thus imbued in the philosophy of the gathering, is this idea that the regenerative society, that the society I want to create, that the society we dream of, is one where people have a sense of agency and feel that they are co-creators of the reality. And in a more deeper and meaningful way than I just have 1,000 choices for anything I want to buy on Amazon, right? That's not co-creation. And by putting co-creation into the program, into design, into as many aspects as practicable of the gathering, we practice this and creating this environment where this I really felt this is what the key thing that I personally got out of Burning Man is this feeling of being in a space where everybody is a contributor, right? There's no spectators if you heard it before, which doesn't mean you have to do a huge thing, but it means that you feel a contributor. It can just mean bending over and picking up a piece of garbage that's not yours. It means giving a smile and a hug to somebody, or it means putting on a camp and, doing a big performance. It's all good, but the idea is you feel a calling to co-create and contribute. Make sense? I will go top to bottom, left, right, I guess. Weaving this idea of bringing together people across different systems change movements. If you haven't seen it, I'll share it again. It's my favorite little 6-minute clip from Daniel Schmachtenberger of the answer to all of the problems is all of the solutions. It's the economy and the environment and pollution and money, and it's all of those things. And what I like to add to that is it's all of those things put together. So I really feel that a lot of the solutions that we need have already been invented and are out there. They just need to be put into the world at scale and in combination with all of the other solutions. So weaving action, we're really trying to create an environment where people come not just to hang out, but also to hang out, to create a culture of where we're moving towards some sort of a shared action, which can just mean I reshare your post when you have an invitation, or it could mean we start a project together, a partnership, all kinds of things, but thinking of how we can work together. And this is creating this collaboration ecosystem. Make sense? At the same time, we have to be celebrating because we don't know what the future will bring, and celebration For me, celebration is an expression of gratitude. And gratitude is at the core of creating a better future, regenerative world. Nature. So having nature as host and guide, coming together in nature is really, this is why I really don't think a gathering in the city would ever make sense. At the same time, I think there can be different interpretations of what it means to do it in nature and connect people with nature. And then belonging, to really invite people to think of where we belong, right? That was why it was originally the gathering of tribes. And belonging is a reciprocal relationship. It means both where I feel at home, where I feel I receive support, connection, and so on and so forth, but also where I feel where I'm putting my contribution and a degree of my supporting others and connection too. And that's why the camp structure is integral to that, and everybody is part of a camp because it's an invitation. It's only for 7 days. It's a lightweight experience, but still 7 days is meaningful, right? For 7 days, where do you choose to belong? And it seems like a small thing, but you'd be surprised at how many people struggled with this. Any questions about this in general? I mean, I'm always happy to have a call or something if you have questions, and there is DNA little videos here on our DNA page. Cool, good enough. Move on, get shit done, yes? Guy, yes? Are we okay to move on? All right. So that was the vision and the DNA. So now, how does this all come together? I've put this diagram. So there is a bunch of different actors playing together to make this happen. So I put this diagram to make it clear. So this is the core team. This is the team that holds the center and makes things happen. There is the Gathering Global, which supports, holds the brand and develops the app, two key things. There is a land host partner that whoever owns the land, and depending on who it is, provides more or less of the services. We have suppliers for food, glamping, perhaps toilets and other things, sound systems, and so on and so forth. So far, so good. Yeah. We have camps. So there is multiple camps. And also we have what we've been calling the butterfly camp. As I said, it's surprisingly difficult for some people to make up their mind and join some camp. So what we came to the realization of is there's always a bunch of people that can't make up their mind. So we invented the butterfly camp. So everybody that doesn't choose a camp or is not able to choose a camp becomes part of the butterfly camp. And then the butterfly camp is still a camp. It has hosts. It actually was fairly big at last year's gathering. But this gives us an opportunity to create that care and this small group experience. The camp is really key to ensuring that nobody gets lost, right? Because the gathering 500 next year, it'll be 1,000 people. It starts to become a big group of people. And if you're alone, maybe you don't know, you don't have friends there, it's easy to end up feeling lost in a crowd. And this makes you detached, and it makes you hard to feel like you want to co-create or like you don't belong anywhere. So everybody being part of a camp belongs to this smaller human group where they're taken care of. Does this make sense? Anybody have questions about camps? Because this is a critical part of the design of the gathering. No?
How is the process to create a camp and to manage it?
So we will go through that, but there is an application process. The app that we're building supports people through that. There is a nest. So one of the key things that the core team does, and the global, which is basically me, it's primarily me, will supports with, is to hold an incubation process. And the camps are also critical because uh, camps help with promotion. So the gathering really relies on the camps sharing the word and inviting people. So it's important that at least a good percentage, I hope nobody minds, I'm having fun coloring this as I go, that a good percentage of the camps has a following, has an audience that they can bring. So in terms of traditional events, you can think of it as a trade show. This is how trade shows work. So there is a part of, I mean, the gathering is more holistic and deeper than that, but at a certain logistical level, it's like a trade show. We create a space, organizations come, show up, and produce in that space. Does that help, Rudolfo?
Yes.
I also have a question,
Please.
but I mean, you half answered it just now, I think. But my question was, who is the gathering targeting as camp leaders? You just said organization, so it's more organization than individuals, right? As camp leaders, I mean. But is there a specific target group, or is it very open?
So that will depend on the core team. Because a key part of the gathering, so now I'm jumping to what needs to be done. A key part is to create the invitation list, send invitations, create webinars, review applications. I mean, last year we didn't turn anybody down because it was early days, but I think there needs to be a degree of filtering. The gathering has, I mean, it's the reason, right? We have many different movements we've looked at and thought about, and there's probably others that are not on here that you can think about. But the goal of the gathering is, well, first of all, to be the gathering, but also very much to support the people in the core team to develop their world and their life. So when I started, I had a pretty strong network in land-based projects in Portugal because of a previous event I've done, and 10 years I spent in village building space. So I invited a lot of those people, but it will be up to the core team to decide where they focus on. The invitation for the gathering is to not do one, but which 3 or 5 that the core team chooses to focus on will be up to the core team to decide.
Okay.
Cool, thank you for asking that. So let me just finish on here, land host. And then of course there is contributors and volunteers. We talked about those before. Yes, and then the last thing is the council of the gathering. So as co-creation and generally creating collaboration, encouraging people to talk and work with each other is what the gathering is about. And I will I'll tell my little story. Hopefully, it will not be too much of old man storytelling. But at the first gathering, as always, there was somebody playing music too late, and we were supposed to finish at 11, but then we said like, oh, well, it's Saturday, let's do it till 1. At 3 a.m., there was still loud banging, minimal techno music in a space which was completely like the location was open. You could hear for a few kilometers. So I went once, I tried to ask them nicely, they ignored me, and I was like, well, let's see what happens. At some point, a angry man came up to me and in a very appropriate, not inappropriate, but very lively, angry manner said to me, "You're the organizer. Are you not going to do something about this?" At which point I had angels singing, I had a white flash of epiphany as my every single cell of my body said, no, you're not putting me in this position. And in one of those perfect comeback moments that only happen a few times in life, I looked at him and I went, they're your neighbors, you go talk to them. Because the point is, right, we're trying to create a space where we talk with each other, we collaborate. If we do not have enough safety that you can go to your neighbors and ask them to turn the music down or something like that, then it's a total failure, right? So the end result was eventually, I don't know if he did or didn't talk to them, but there was somebody screamed at the top of their voice. And it's surprising how loud an adult male screaming at full force carries, right? You have no da-da-da, you could hear pin drop, it was completely silent. And the next day was the best day of the gathering because groups broke out, people talked, it was real, you know. And in the end, right, okay, some people were inconvenienced. I could have gone in as police. But in the end, it's like some people got a bad nights of sleep. But the end result was really juicy, meaningful conversations about governance, respect, connection, da 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 da. So what I really got out of that experience is no way is somebody going to put me in the position of judge, jury, and executioner, right? I do not want to be the police. At the same time, I realized that, okay, I don't want to be a police, but somebody's going to make the rules. And the key thing that most people don't appreciate is it's very easy to make lots of rules, but somebody's going to have to enforce them, right? So on the one hand, I have no problem. And as organizers, there is a fundamental responsibility to enforce legal laws. Like, for example, in Portugal around fire safety. I would have zero tolerance. I would go in with a shovel and like I would not allow somebody to have a fire because it's unsafe and it's legally thing. But things which are within the soft cultural layer, like for example, last year there was some conversation around nudity and people walking around naked, and we're within a private environment, so it would normally be allowed. We need to have a democratic way of not the organizers of the gathering creating and coming up with the rules and then going around and being police. Like, do you really want to spend 7 days going around finding every single naked person and telling them, put your pants on, put your pants on? Like, really? I don't think, I mean, this is not an enjoyable position, right? But somebody should be doing it, right? If that is the thing. So thus emerged the Council of the Gathering, which is a representative from every camp, which makes these rules, which are not within the legal frame, which of course the gathering for safety and legal reason must enforce. We are within the country of Portugal. There is certain things, but within that, within the festival, like how long does the music go, like these kinds of things, there's lots of decisions that can be made in a democratic, in a fair way between the camps. Any questions, thoughts about that? And also, Guy, yeah? Guy?
Yeah, so this is sort of like the where everyone comes together and discusses things that are on their mind, things that they want to discuss with like the core team, but also like opportunities that they see, and like really, and like a daily thing or something like that, where like every morning.
Yes, it happens daily during the gathering. I mean, it happened daily because we only had 5, so effectively 3 days, maybe every other day. Also, for the core team, this is a really great hack, because when somebody has a problem with somebody else, you don't end up getting pushed into being mommy and daddy. Oh, he did that. Can you please talk to him? It's just like bring it up in council. If you have a problem with another camp, bring it up in council, right? I'm really trying to get the core team out of this mommy, daddy, police, kind of situation.
And one thing, this is being formed way before the event starts, I assume, right? So
Yes, there
already...
were 2 sessions, I think, on making these agreements beforehand. I mean, it's only happened once. There were 2 sessions beforehand, and then regularly during the gathering.
Yeah.
It's
like a little history, and like people know each other, understand the dynamics, know the rules.
For sure. And the pre-agreements are made before the gathering. But it's early days, but I think there's a huge value on this, and it really gets us out of the door of he did this or he did that. You'd be surprised at how, like, I actually had somebody come up to me last year and say, oh, those people over there, they parked in my parking spot. And I was like, a serio, right? Go talk to them. So creating this, and it's all part of this, because it's not just about the gathering, right? If we can have a good argument during the gathering, that means I know how you argue, and that means I know when I go to collaborate with you, I feel safer, because I know that even if things get tense, you will be this way and not the other. So it's all actually practice. For me, the key thing that I've gotten out of the gathering and I've learned and come to believe is that collaboration is a muscle. And it doesn't matter if we're building a camp together or cooking dinner. If we collaborate in that sense, then we can go in and do a project. We can start a company. Yes, Arsenije?
Yeah, just want to mention, because Gustavo's session will kind of address this topic through cultural lens, and my session will address this through protocol world building lens. So the idea is that next 2 sessions, I think there are some guidelines from the standpoint of what worked before, but I think this group as a whole can also agree that how they want to work as a group. So that's the idea of next 2 sessions.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm describing here is the relationship between the core team and the camps, which is related to but orthogonal to how the group works together. So that was the actors. And then what is to be done is, so camp invitation and selection, we discussed this. Does this make sense? Any questions around this? No? Physical event production, I mean, finding the land is fundamental. Permitting, insurance, organizing volunteers, drinking water, sanitation, toilets, showers, all of these usual things, which are either boring or exciting, depending on what kind of a person you are, but are absolutely fundamental to having a good event. You'd be surprised at how quickly things go south if the toilets are not working. Any questions about that? Communications. So there is the communications about the gathering, about the camps really connects with working working the camps to share the promotion. So we really rely a lot on the camps to promote and to invite and to bring people. And the way we motivate them is we produce contents about them, right? It seems reasonable to this article about your camp, please share it, right? Outreach. So influencer outreach, LinkedIn, all of the usual channels. Something that is nice is we have built a very affordable communications operations team in Pakistan. So for all of the posting this article to 5 channels, repurposing videos to shorts, etc., we have a team. You don't have to work with it, but it's available and they know the gathering and they know the drill. So it means that the team can focus on the more fun stuff of actually producing quality contents than to posting it to 6 channels. Camps incubation is the camp nest. This is the key thing. Again, rather than trying to be a service organization for the camps, we have a call every 2 weeks and people can ask questions and ideally people can help each other, trying to create as much as possible the situation, the ability for peer support. Make sense?
Yeah, the camp nest, like that's just a word for like embedding the camps into the festival in a proper way, like onboarding
So
them,
Camp
getting them.
Nest is a bi-weekly support incubation call. It's just what we've been calling it. So it's just a name for having a call on a regular basis to invite the camp leaders.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah. Again, trying to really create more of an environment where people talk and support each other than being there and answering the same question 15 times individually to each camp leader. Hajar.
Yeah, I was wondering whether these tasks were ordered chronologically, like starting with, the camp invitation and selection and then move into physical event production.
No.
No, right?
This is just everything that needs to be done.
Okay.
Then there is getting the suppliers and providers, ticket sales and support. We're working within the Gathering Global, we're working on the app, which will enable people to, after they buy tickets, choose their camps, for the camps to do a degree of self-management of information and so on and so forth, and also to ping the camps and to support dealing, because there's just a lot of herding cats when it comes to the camps. As if you've ever had this experience, you'd be shocked at how hard it is to get people to fill in a piece of information about anything. But I guess we're all traumatized by filling in profiles. So finding the food providers, why is this here twice? I don't know. Glamping, we have our friend Tom, who's really cool. He did both gatherings. At least for some of the work, it'd be great if we could use him because he's a great guy and a great supporter. He also had sound systems for rent and other things for the camps to rent. This is, yes, also within the camps, most camps end up needing to rent some infrastructure, like for example, a central tent or a sound system, etc. So in order to make it easier for them and easier for us, right? We don't want 16 glamping providers to all be coming in with their trucks to set up the event. That's not good for anybody. So we allowed, or we brokered and kind of sat in between to some degree. So supporting people renting infrastructure through us. And because part of the gathering ticket goes to the camp, this also means that they can then apply their ticket money directly to their infrastructure.
One question around, there's a lot of companies and organizations that we've already worked with and that we want to work with this time as well. Is there a list or an overview that we can see? Or
I mean,
like one centralized list of
it's
all the...
not so many. I mean, there is glamping, which is Tom. He's a good friend. And for food, we can talk. It was, who was it that was brain names? We can talk with the people that did the food last time, but that's, I think, about it, because the toilets and other things were already on site for the garden, so we don't have suppliers for that. But for glamping, Tom is first of all, he's a fun character. And also he does a whole bunch of festivals, so he's a good person to talk to. He also knows a whole bunch of lands now. Yeah, I really love Tom. He's a great friend.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
And then for the business side, of course, there is doing the budget. So this is one big thing that we have done last year, which is we have set up the company. So, I mean, of course, you could use a different legal entity, but I don't know if it would necessarily make sense. So my proposal is I baked into the budget and or that we just use that, and this means we have everything covered legally for accounting, taxes, etc. in Portugal. Cool. Any thoughts so far? Melissa, we haven't heard from you.
Just following.
Gustav, do you have any questions or thoughts?
No particular thoughts from me, but I feel like we have to start concretizing things. Time moves very fast. And yeah, it feels like, Victor, you're still very much kind of guiding and leading, and we're going to have to start kind of pulling together that like how the team starts operating, right? Rather than just us here asking you questions around how things worked before, we're going to have to start designing and creating and bringing it into reality. So that's the only thing that's coming to my mind right now.
Yeah. And Arsenije is going to say that, no? That
I have something to say just in response to Gustav's question. There is a what I call a TTP on the board on top of the table. TTP is a little bit on trust the process. Like we are currently designing, yes, this sitting the core team phase. We are going to have this series of 4 events, Gustav on all, where the final outcome will be actually that in 3 weeks from now, or maybe 4, to give a little bit of extra session for the last of extra time for the last session, we should have already designed roles. We should have already designed accountabilities, even what type of responsibilities, how we're moving forward, even the amount of time that people will be placing for the next few months. And that is what is going to start moving the boat forward. Like this first month is more like a month for training and receiving the tripulation and selecting ourselves and so on. But in 4 weeks from now, this boat will start moving towards the gathering. That's the
And
that's
at
the
the
plan.
same time, already some people have moved forward with the land search and talking with land, which is the critical thing now. So you're welcome to engage with that. Welcome to engage with this board. By the way, I didn't go through it, but there is a Mexico gathering tasks list here. Also, feel free to engage with this board, see what you think is missing. So yeah, also happy to have a call. We can kick off some work streams to fill in more details on this information and start making plans and roadmap so that we have more already prepared, as Gustavo says, to when the commitment happens and the team is launched. But thank you. I love the movement to action. So I have made a spreadsheet proposal, and we have, this is at a high level. We have detailed spreadsheets from previous, from 2024 and 2022. We can start doing those, but at the high level for estimates, I kind of did I mean, I am thinking there will be probably more at the higher level. I think if we start and if the team works with a degree of enthusiasm, and of course I will support, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to get 1,000 people. We need to check, but my understanding is that above 1,000, we need professional security and an ambulance on site. I don't know if anybody's in event production in Portugal that can confirm or deny that. But if that's true, then definitely that will be expensive. And then probably 1,000 people doesn't make sense. You have to jump to 1,500. But anyways, hello? But anyways, if the first year we were 247, the second year we were 504, so we doubled. If we double again, I think that will be a reasonable amount to expect. Average ticket price, we could probably even, yeah, so I raised the average ticket price expectation to 150. Again, much more of a name now, more of a reasonable expectation that things will sell out at a higher price. It's interesting, by the way, with tickets. In July last year, we were struggling to sell tickets for 150 or less than 150. And then in September, I sold the last few tickets just kind of as a pricing experiment. Because also, like, if you're buying 3 days in advance, we sold, I think, 7 or 8 tickets for 300, 2 tickets for 500, and I almost sold a ticket for 1,000. It actually went through in Stripe. I saw it in Stripe, but it didn't clear the card. So, and I mean, some people asked and they were like really nice, my wife, this and that, please give me. So I gave people a discount code to the regular price. But then if somebody's buying tickets 3 days before, I think it's reasonable to raise the price up a fair bit. So We'll
Yeah, and
look
I
at
think it's
this.
I think it's
Please.
also what people expect. Like we get some early cash in by selling tickets cheap, get the tickets going, and then just like raise them up slowly.
Yeah.
Or like very smartly, but I think like a week before, yeah, then you're paying double or triple because I don't know, that makes sense. And if you tried it last year, then
Yeah.
that's a good way to
And also in general, I'm a big fan of setting a higher price and being generous with discount codes.
Yeah.
Because there's always everybody's asking for a discount. I'm sure each of us has 50 friends, they'll ask for a friends and family discount.
Yeah, and some people can also like really support the festival and they can just buy a really expensive ticket. We can make a tier for them as well, give them some extra stuff. Just
Yeah,
also
yeah.
support.
I think there is definitely room for experimentation. And look, I think it's fair enough if you buy a higher price ticket, we can put your name in letters in a special way. I think there was I remember there was and there's no refunds. I remember there was one guy from the US or something, and he was really upset. And I was like, look, man, there's no refunds. But how about I put a link to your project? I put a thank you note to your name on the website as a donation. And he said, fine, okay. And I did that, right? So, I mean, okay, I mean, he donated the money, but for two reasons. First of all, you don't want to encourage people to change their mind back and forth. And second of all, it's very expensive. Returns are very expensive admin-wise. It's an operational cost, right? So not only am I giving you your money, I'm losing 20 minutes or half an hour of precious time right before the event. It's just like, no. At least that's how I feel about it. So, any questions about this? No? Generally makes sense. All of the stuff is in the Miro board. The links are here. So generally, by the way, in general, everything about the gathering is open. It's all in open folders, etc. I mean, things around taxes and things like this for the company are I think there would be probably security things from sharing that, but all of the numbers, everything that we spent, everything is shared.
I have a quick question for you, Victor.
Please.
Do you already have things like the ticketing platform and all that stuff set up?
So that's what the Gathering Global will set up. I mean, we use Stripe and the Gathering, and I'm working on the app. So last year, yeah, I'm using Stripe, and it's the responsibility of the Gathering Global to take care of that side of the infrastructure.
Okay, and when do you expect those things to be set up and ready? I mean, I'm guessing the Stripe side is set up and ready, but the application?
As soon as it's needed.
Okay, right. So it's ready to go pretty much.
It's ready to go in my head, and we'll be making it fast enough that it doesn't block anything.
Okay, cool.
So the thing is, we clobbered together a platform for last year using Stripe, softer no-code platform, and N8N for notifications. But then Softer changed their pricing model and started charging per user, which just makes it completely untenable, which means for every camp, we would be paying $20 a month or something ridiculous like that. It's just made no sense. So, but we're building our own platform, and there'll also be a camp. I'm happy to have a separate conversation with that about whoever is interested, but that's the key thing that the Gathering Global takes responsibility for. And here is The MOU, this is the agreement between the, oh, I see some of you are there, between the Gathering Global and the local gathering. I don't know if it makes sense to go through all of this. It's basically what we said. The local gathering is its own entity. So if it loses money, it loses money by itself. We'll need to think of how to do that within fiscal hosting, but yes. Communication channels, we have the global communication channel. We're still working out the details on this, on how to make it, but it doesn't make sense to have just one Instagram, for example, because then it will be flooded with posts about the US, Mexico, Portugal, other countries which are not relevant. So instead, those local channels and some posts, key posts, are shared through the global channel. The Gathering Global, which is me and a team which will be set up soon. So we share the best processes, financial models. There's also a global nest. So this is a gathering of, like the camp nest is for the camp leaders, the global nest is for the organizing teams of the gatherings around the world. And here is the camp onboarding and participant management. And the key thing is for the other gatherings, it was more flexible because they're doing it for the first time. For the Portugal gathering, which is well established, the proposal is, this is a draft document, so it's to be discussed, but that out of each ticket, 20 will go for the use of the app, brand communication channels, etc., and 10 for fiscal hosting, accounting, taxes, and all of this. And of course, happy to share all of the info on the company and such. And the agreement is, this is all for the one gathering. And then after the gathering, the team can decide, of course, if it wants to continue and do the next one, great. We will review at the end of the year all of this, and also the pricing and fees and so on and so forth. So the important thing to remember is that the gathering this is not there's money flows through it, but it's not a business. It's not even trying to be a not-for-profit. It's trying to be more of a common steward kind of an organization. So I've probably put in 1.5 man-years of my life into this, never gotten paid. Just so you understand, none of this is making me rich. Though I am hoping at some point to at least put a little bit of money into my food budget. But the goal is to do an exit to community at a global level. So looking forward to starting that work stream sometime next year, Arsenije and Gustavo. And then the idea becomes that the global gathering is owned and managed and organized somehow by the local gatherings. So it becomes a global common steward organization. What does that mean in practice? I don't know. Fortunately, still have 7 years to figure it out. And also, it will only really make sense when there is enough local gatherings for this to be a robust ecosystem. So my dream would be 100. Well, I would love to see 1,000 by 2032. But let's say even if there is 50 or 100 gatherings around the world, then this will be a robust global ecosystem, and it can manage the global organization. Thoughts, questions? Anybody seen this kind of organization? Arsenije, Gustavo, in crypto space? Anybody doing stuff like this?
Trying, but not fully like this. I think it's clear because it's event based, so it feels more concrete. It's not digital. So I think when you have events, it becomes more tangible and more real. It's not just.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this is will be interesting in the long run. It doesn't so much concern the core team, but I just put that in there because it's not, I don't want this to become like, how much do you pay me? How much do you pay you? Some kind of a business negotiation or all of this, because this is not what it's all about. I mean, of course, I want everybody on the core team to be fairly rewarded and everybody to feel that they're getting value out of it. But in the big picture, we're building a common good for the world, right? All right. So that's the MOU. And then this last time, maybe I can get out of screen share more. We can see each other. So I've been thinking, how much time did we spend on it? Last year, it was primarily me and Audrey, my partner, working very hard on it. I would say that we spent the equivalent of 6 months half time each. So I would say, I would estimate that sum total, it was maybe something like 6 man-months worth of work, though it was starting from a much lower, much earlier position. There was no company. There was no reputation. We had to figure out how to explain all of this. The branding wasn't done. Tomorrow I'm spending a day. I'll be in Ericeira, by the way. We can maybe meet. I'm spending a day on, or we're finishing, we've gone through a long rebranding process. So I would say 6 man-months total starting from nothing. Maybe 7, 8, but let's say 6. So that would be my total estimate of work to be done. So if we split it across 5 people, say 1, 2 man-months per person over the next 10 months.
Can you say it again? Sorry, a bit confused.
So do you understand? Do you understand the expression man-months?
No, that's why.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, it's maybe I'm from software, so it's a man-month is 1 human working for 1 month full time.
Okay, yeah.
So if we say 6 man-months, so the equivalent of 1 person working full time, 40 hours a week, for 6 months.
Yes. Yes, I got that. But that last part, just the last part that you said, that you estimated how many man-months for 10 months, that's what I.
Yes, so if we say it's 6 man-months
Mhm.
produce the gathering, and if we divide it across 5 people,
Mhm.
then it would be 1.5 to 2 man-months equivalent spread over
Yeah,
10 months.
throughout the period. Yes. Okay. Got it.
So, Guy, I think you have the most event production experience of people here. How does that sound to you in terms of estimate?
That's really tricky to say something realistic about this. One of the things that comes to mind is like, yes, it takes maybe 6 months to set it up from zero, but we want to grow it. So like we start at 5 and we go to 15 instead from go to 0 to 10, like we did the previous one. So I do think that there's same amount of hours or like man-months to be accounted for. I do think it's a good one to spread it out a little bit more. but in the end, it's so dependable on a lot of circumstances. What we actually make, and like how ticket sales are going, how efficiently we can onboard camps, how efficiently we can onboard partners. Um, and from my I think that like at least September, if we're doing that, or like the month that we're doing the organizing the gathering, that's just going to be full time for 5 of us. So that's already 5 men a month, because there's so much stuff to do. You don't want to be involved in other big projects, at least around that time. I feel like, because you need a whole week. You need a week before and after, maybe more. Um, so I think 6 is
But yeah,
fairly
I don't.
conservative, but I think like, yeah, if we spread it out and well, organize it well, it can be very effective.
I I
Does that
mean,
help?
last time we had it was Audrey took on all of the physical organization, and that was not good. It was too much. But I think I would imagine 2, 3 people and then lots of volunteers and such would take on the physical production. So I don't think it would require all of the 5 people. I imagine out of 5 people, some people will be more focused on the communications or other things, right? So, and
Yeah.
they'll be less motivated by dealing with tractors and da da da.
Yeah, I mean, I see like most festivals, you set up an office on site, where a part is really doing all the online stuff and organizing, and a part is doing the building and production side, and like have constant meetings and like really be close together organizing everything. So I think would still want to be on site together organizing everything. Um, but that doesn't mean that it has to be like completely full time for everyone, like for 3 weeks. Um,
Yeah.
I'm curious to know if anyone else has like experience with this or thoughts and feelings.
I have some experience with producing an event, but I see that the organization that has been done here, it's way higher than what I have experienced until now. It's very interesting to see also the experience you have also like from software and tech that really spread this organization through years. And I don't know if you like during more to the production phase or in the more intensive phase of production, you can apply maybe like another type of methods for the team. Like in software, there is agile methods because when it starts to arrive the time to be physical, like there are always problems that appear and maybe like customer support people that really are present in that phase is really important. But maybe we can also discuss that and understanding really what are the facts that we need, and maybe even create a pipeline to sort all the needs with application. I can help a little bit on that design. And yeah, maybe like if we really have time to think about all the circumstances and problems that we might face in that phase, we can split the work well in that point. And also really sharing what are our availability in that stage.
Yeah, I think like it's very important to split it properly. From what I hear talking to people, that was one of the things that's like came out like it needs to be well organized, and everyone needs to have their own thing, and like, but not be 100% stretched all the time, so they have a lot of leeway to get extra problems in, and just have the bandwidth for that. I think that's really important, and I think, yeah, like around those weeks, you're just gonna be it's just gonna be full on at the event. There's no way around it. So I would advise people to just like make sure that they have as much time available as possible around the time. Yeah.
It's also, I mean, it depends what you like, but it's also the fun thing because we're together on the land, and even if you're carrying stuff or cleaning garbage, you're still together in nature in a beautiful space with other people working together. The camaraderie of it is really beautiful.
Right. Yeah, I think it's always the juice of the event organizations where you're together like, in the trenches, like fixing all the things that you get thrown at you, but also just have really amazing nights drinking a beer, and hanging out together and just getting to know each other after you've worked your ass off for like 10, 50 or 10, 12 hours or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So cool. If no other burning things, maybe Gustavo, can you finish us off with the preview of the next session?
Yes, of course. So for the next session, we want to do a participatory workshops. We're gonna play a little bit with mostly sure Miro board and all the documents. It will be a co-created session where we're going to start defining, hopefully agreeing on what kind of culture we want to work with during this preparation. It's going to be mainly oriented to build some principles very similar to the gathering DNA, but this gathering DNA is more of the culture that we want to see it all over the world during this workshop, during these gatherings. This is more oriented to what are the values that we want to embrace and embody in coherence during the work itself. So it's more kind of a declaration of intent of what kind of team we want to be building, and especially in the context that there is a very clear intention from Victor to decentralize little by little these organizations, the way that we're producing these events. So it's going to be a Kickstarter for that, to start defining the culture in which we want to work with, and that will be then leading us to something that Arjen is going to work with, and we're going to work on this together, more regarding the protocols. How do we want to account for the work done? What are the payment protocols? How are we governing stuff? What part of the narrative, what part of the whole organization Victor will have a say, no, this is the way, or what part of other stuff we will actually give to the community and to the people putting labor onto it. So it's going to be fun. I'm preparing a very fun session there, participatory. It's going to be also insightful for most of us.
Nice. That sounds really cool. Really looking forward to that one. Is there anything we can prepare or like read up on? Like I know
Yes.
there are...
Thank you, because yes, there is something that you can read. It's not more about preparation. I'm going to send some links in the chat. I want to prompt you to read about community principles. To study, for example, what are the Born principles, the 10 principles of Burning Man. I'm also super fan of what are the principles of governing the commons, the Elinor Ostrom principles. And to bring some examples, they're going to be the first probably 20 minutes of that session will be about talking about those principles, how it served those communities. And the rest, just bring yourself, your full attention and interest into building this together.
Brilliant.
So
thank you.
Born principles and governing the commons principles.
We'll make the list, email it out. Rudolfo, I was hoping to finish on time, but please just quickly.
I just wanted to really point out that I really would like to think in group how we can bring Portuguese youth to this gathering.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, any ideas like this, please feel free to start chats in the thread. Just throw out the ideas. And my answer to that would be, let's think of which are the organizations, right? Which are the organizations we can invite? Scouts, for example, what interesting organizations are there that could bring, that have the audience, that have the Portuguese youth, right? So that's how I invite you to think about it. What organizations do we want to invite? I was thinking, for example, in the Portuguese context, PAN, but I heard PAN is not so interesting, right? Like, which are the interesting organizations that we would want to bring? And yeah, just share ideas. Let's chat in the group. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks so much.